Plenty of people picked the 49ers to be here in the Super Bowl in New Orleans, but not so much the Baltimore Ravens, especially the way they played in December. We're going to talk about that in this week's Spin Cycle, recapping Conference Championship Sunday, joined by senior editor Eric Edholm. And Eric, that's one of the things we learned this weekend, is that you don't have to be hot heading into the playoffs to make the Super Bowl.
I think it was the case of both Super Bowl teams, especially the Ravens. They lost 4 or 5 in the month of December. You had Ray Lewis still hadn't come back. Joe Flacco hadn't found his mojo. The offensive line was in flux. The defense was missing several key parts. So they certainly didn't look like a Super Bowl team, especially when they fell from one of the top seeds down to the number 4 seed. But even the 49ers, I mean, they lost at St. Louis, weren't impressive in doing so. They just made a quarterback change. And then the game at Seattle seemed to really shift the tide. A lot of people thought maybe the Seahawks were the better club. So obviously both teams heading into the postseason weren't at their top form, but once the playoffs started, they cranked it up.
Yeah, 49ers hit their stride against the Packers, and the Ravens hit their stride with maybe 30 seconds left against the Broncos a week earlier. Eric, what was your biggest surprise from Sunday?
I think it was just the second half performance of the Falcons at Patriots, both at home, outscored by a combined 35-0. I mean, that was stunning. Could you see them losing in the second half? Oh, absolutely. But the fact that they were blanked at home offensively, especially with Matt Ryan and Tom Brady at quarterback, and defensively were out on the field too much and had no answers, that to me stunned me.
Yeah, clearly the Harbaughs won in terms of the halftime adjustments, although I'm sure Ray Lewis gave some kind of halftime speech to get Baltimore going.
Waved his magic spell.
He did something to get Joe Flacco going, and you know, we didn't really see that many huge individual performances this week like we saw last week or even in the wild card round, but Flacco really was a head and shoulders above everyone, and he did it all in the second half. Yeah,
3 touchdowns, and we started 1 for 6, and we talked about in a previous video. He stood in there, he looked like he was a confident guy no matter what the situation was. And they went to that up-tempo passing attack. I think that really helped kind of kick-start things in the second half. He found Torrey Smith. He got his tight ends involved. The run game started happening. But I also got to throw a bone to Patrick Willis. Thought he played a really big game. 12 tackles, 1 for loss. Made 4 big stops against the run in the fourth quarter. Also helped out in coverage of Tony Gonzalez. Played an overall very good game. But like you said, a lot of people for the 49ers played well. It wasn't just one guy.
Yeah, and the 2 coaches who end up coming out on top, of course, are the Harbaughs, the brothers. We'll be talking about it for the next 2 weeks, and their teams, led by veteran defenses, quarterbacks that really proved themselves in the past couple weeks, have advanced to the Super Bowl. For all the analysis of the conference championships, be sure to head to our website at ProFootballWeekly.com.